And welcome back to another sports rant. I am your host, Max Gallegos, and I got a special edition request today. One of my good friends in Cimarron, New Mexico, just won their district championship. They were real hyped up. They wanted me to make a reaction to their district championship. So I was like, you know what? I'll indulge them. We'll do a quick little podcast on them for them. Got a little bit of NFL news coming up too, so we'll sprinkle that in a little bit. But I really want to talk about my boys. So my boys were going to get up against the Roy Mosquero Blue, or the Roy Mosquero Longhorns, whatever they're called, because they play really small town basketball, if you don't already know. And my boys were underdogs in this one. They were counted out. They came in the 2 seed and came in and absolutely smacked them, 61-43. It really came in that second half. But you know what? I was really impressed. Like, it was a really impressive victory for them. I'm gonna share some pretty damn cool photos. There was like a couple like boys passed out with the trophy in the bus, and then like homeboy over here, my boy Logan and Ricky, they got some fucking fire flicks out of it where they're passed out and they're like, and then my boy Logan was like over the trash can in the bus puking while holding the trophy. So some pretty legendary fucking stuff. They are ranked number 5 right now in the state. So, you know, shout out to them. I think they're gonna do pretty far. I don't know how far they're going to go. They have Alamo Navajo at home, start off the state tournament, so that's going to be cool. But on the game
initially,
in their defense, Roy is a really damn good team, and I feel like it was one of the stupidest rules in all of high school sports is dunking in warm-ups is a tech. I have never understood it. I will never understand the reasoning I'll never understand why that's a rule and why it's only in high school, and it's just so dumb. It's like, oh, you dunked in warm-ups, that's a tech. I'm like, the fuck? Like, there's no reason that should be a technical foul. That actually was against Roy. So I never really understand that rule or that reasoning at all. But anyway, that just kind of like pissed me off a little bit. But in other words, like, but they stayed like Roy really stayed in the game for a while. Like, it was up until like the third quarter. Like, it was back and forth pretty consistently, just like tight, close game until the fourth, and they just couldn't stop the fast break. Like, their fast break defense just broke down. It got to the point where I was like, oh, like, yeah, Roy's kind of in it. They have some good scores. They have way more size, and I was so confused on why they didn't use that size advantage. Because they had like a legitimate large size. Like, they have some big kids over there, and there's like at every single position they were out like way bigger, and they were just passive and conservative, and it bit them in the ass, because when it came down to those transition defense, transition steal, like Cimarron was getting some really good steals and some really like good getting in transition and just scoring at the cup. And Roy wasn't stopping it at all. And on offense, they weren't bullying using their advantage. They were getting out rebounded, and then they just would take a bad shot, or they just wouldn't find a good shot because they have the size advantage. I was like screaming at my TV, and my brother's like, "Why are you screaming for Roy?" And I was like, well, because they have this advantage. They have this distinct advantage, and they're playing so conservatively. They could just be bully balling the entire game and win by 30 or 40. But they're not. They're moving they move the rock great. They're a really well disciplined team. But sometimes you just got to go get a fucking bucket. and they just didn't. They kind of folded like a lawn chair. And I say that with respect to them because they are a damn good team and they play cowboy basketball. Like they are tough, and it just didn't look tough. But congrats to SEMA. They played their ass off. Like they scored what they in transition. It was the transition buckets late in the third, early in the fourth. It was just getting downhill and then just creating steals and getting buckets and getting to that 60-point threshold that Coach Brazil always talks about. Which is awesome. It was just awesome to see. I just really wanted to talk about that. Shout out my boys. Shout out Logan. Shout out Uriah. Shout out Andrew. Shout out Ricky, Henry, Carlos. Congrats, my boys. You know what I also find funny about Cimarron's dramatic upset? It feels like the only place that they can win a district championship is in that gym. Last time they won it back in 21 in that gym. So, it's really, really funny. It's the recipe to win a district championship if you're Cimarron, just play Roy at home. Now, we do have some NFL news, surprisingly, in this. We have a couple weeks here of just dry sports news. And there is actually some NFL news right now. T. Higgins got franchise tagged by the Bengals today. So, I'm sorry, T. Higgins. You're not getting your bag this year, but you still will be really fucking good. I thought he was going to come to the Pats. But the big news of the week is Deebo Samuel is now a member of the Washington Commanders. So what does that mean for the Commanders who won this trade? I don't really know. I'm going to double check on all of that really fast. I just want a quick ref. So they literally sent Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. And they still have to pay his contract. This is almost for sure you think we talk about who won the trade, it kind of balances out over time, and we'll see what happens, who that 5th-round pick is, because yes, it is a 5th-round pick, but Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. But a 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuel, and the 49ers still have to pay him. I think the Commanders are just, if he doesn't work out, it's okay, he's just a piece. He is a really, I love what Colin Cowherd says about him. He is the best chess piece in the league. I know he had a really off year last year, coming off some weird stuff, but I'm sure he'll bounce back. We all say he's he's gonna bounce back, blah blah blah. But I think the Commanders are probably gonna get Cliff Kingsbury is a genius. He will be able to scheme something for him. Jaden Daniels is just already a threat. They got to the NFC Championship game without him, with him, so with him and nobody. So just adding another piece to that should work out nicely. It's is he going to work in as a running back or as a wide receiver? We'll see. Good piece. Honestly, good addition for the Commanders. But if I was the 49ers, I would try and get off that contract, but I get it. You already paid him. And you're going to keep paying him. If you're the Commanders, he's cheap. You got him for a 5th-rounder, so just go crazy. Go hog wild. I think the Commanders are a stock to buy. They're already been to the NFC Championship game. Probably the only downside is they're going to play against the Eagles twice a year. And the Eagles will probably still be really fucking good. So that's really what I gotta say on the T. Higgins. He's not going to get paid for a minute, and he just franchise tag the shit out of him until he decides, either I want to go get paid, I want to demand a trade, move somewhere else. But it's the franchise tag is really unfair, but it is what it is. You can't. It's something that teams can do. They will continue to do, but kind of with Saquon Barkley, It's gonna happen. So the Lakers are back. Luka Doncic and surprise, surprise, LeBron James are really fucking good at basketball. With the Nuggets loss to the Celtics last night, they are now a 2 seed, right behind, 10 games behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they are a 2 seed. And are we shocked? Are we surprised that, oh yeah, two of the best offensive players and the best player of all time are going to work together? Like a top 3 player right now and the best player of all time, are they going to work well together? Absolutely. Like, I don't know, like, why we were shocked or like, oh, there's danger in the things. I saw Mavericks ticket prices just fucking plummeted. Especially just after the trade, post everything, just everything happening after this Luka trade is insane. Their fans are pissed, like rightfully so, like rightfully pissed. And I don't blame them. Like, you traded away the franchise, and you know what circulated that made me laugh? And it's like, I saw pictures of Dirk, who was incredibly like, and showed like pictures of him like at a club, and he's drunk, and it's like, yeah, but Luka could do, oh no, and there's a statue of Dirk, but Luka is fat apparently. It's like, this is just a generational fumble by Nico Harrison. Everybody is clowning him online. And you know what? Well, like, yeah, sure, it'll play out. The Mavericks are still kind of decent, but you traded away your franchise. And I've talked about it before. You should probably go check out my instant reaction to it, to the Anthony Davis Luka Doncic trade. But it's I think it's just going to get steadily. Right now, it'll get steadily better for the Lakers and incredibly worse for the Mavericks, especially just with Anthony Davis being out. But right now, there's a lot of things. There's trouble in Philly. Joel Embiid will be out for the season, it looks like. And this is really my opinion on Joel Embiid as a player. He kind of got the most pitiable MVP of all time, and it was really kind of sad. Like, he got like he earned, like, he played good that season, but not. It felt more like, oh, we don't want to give Jokic 3 in a row, because that would be he's not as exciting to be an MVP winner 3 times in a row, and the MVP is stupid because it's an objective. It's an award. It's a voted on. It's a popularity contest, not a show of actual skill. So, because if in all reality, if it really mattered, and it's like, this is the most valuable player, LeBron James would have won it his entire career, every single season. It's Steph Curry too. Like, I mean, like, that's really what it boils down to. It's like, it would either be Steph or LeBron winning the MVP every single year. And now he just feels like the 3rd string player on a really bad team. I remember, like, Jared McCain looked really good, like, until he tore his ACL. Like, Tyrese Maxey is really good. Like, probably, like, he plays really well, pretty hard, but like, the Sixers are just bad. And Joel Embiid is he's like Shaq. He's like all the bad, like, he's built like Shaq. Everybody like compares him to Shaq, but he has like all of the bad things about Shaq that you didn't want. He's like, like the inconsistent defense, the shitty attitude, the constant injuries. I think the NBA has had enough of Joel Embiid, and there was a conversation a couple of years ago that Jokic and him, it was like a coin flip, and now it's not even close. He's not even near the level that Jokic is at. And you know, it's kind of, I know it's like frustrating to see, and like it's sad to see guys like fall from grace, but he is just like him saying, oh, I don't want to do back-to-backs, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. It's like complain, and here's the result. I mean, what do we expect? That's probably going to be the video, guys. Please like, subscribe, go follow me on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, uh, Twitter. My Twitter's been a little weird. Go like and subscribe on the YouTube. If you're listening on my podcasts, please rate and review. I'm on all podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Go check it out. Awesome. Thank you. Love you. Bye.